Right. The road to rural India has always been an exciting one for corporate India, but unlocking the potential at the bottom of the pyramid hasn't always been easy. One business which seems to be making a success of it is the BPO industry. Now, the concept of rural BPOs has been around for a while, but it was largely seen as corporate social responsibility. But as Balakrishnan reports, increasingly it's making more and more pure business sense for BPOs to go down the rural road.
The early BPO revolution threw up new opportunities for India's urban Y generation. But now, as the industry matures, it is creating a different sort of socio-economic revolution. 27-year-old Gangamma is the new emerging face of India's BPO industry. Living in Mudanahalli, about 50 kilometers from Bangalore, Gangamma is getting ready for her shift at the rural BPO center. Every day she walks along the Kacha road to her center, which was earlier a bungalow, but now operates as a BPO center. Once a tailor, Gangamma now says she is comfortable using computers and even interacting with clients, and has no plans to migrate to the city.
ಕಂಪ್ಯೂಟರ್ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ನಾವು ಕಾಲೇಜಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ನೋಡಿದ್ವಿ ಅಷ್ಟೇ, ಅದನ್ನೇನು ಮಾಡಿರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಇಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಬಂದು ಕಂಪ್ಯೂಟರಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡೋದೆಲ್ಲ ಕಲ್ತ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲಸಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂದಾಗಿಂದ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಇಂಪ್ರೂವ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದೀವಿ.
Gangamma and many like her have seen their lives change as the trend of rural BPOs has gathered steam in the industry. A rural BPO is usually a 50 to 500 seater center located in underserved locations where the purpose is to utilize local talent for running processes. Mainstream BPO firms subcontract work to these rural centers to save costs, or they set up their own rural BPO captive. According to industry estimates, operational costs are cheaper by nearly 40% compared to urban BPOs. Even the dreaded employee attrition is down from 40 to 60% in urban BPOs to just 8 to 12% in rural BPOs. Companies also see huge cost savings on training, compensation, logistics and infrastructure. As the business benefits have become increasingly clear, most Indian BPO players including Genpact, Raman Roy promoted Quattro BPO, Infosys and Wipro have moved to either set up captive rural BPOs or outsource work to rural BPOs. Rita Soni of the NASSCOM Foundation says rural BPOs are now more a business need than just CSR.
We're sort of looking at a tipping point. Pretty much every single one of the big players is talking about rural BPO, not solely from a corporate social responsibility perspective or a way of impacting society, but also from a business perspective of, one, having partners in the outsourcing work, but also in lowering some of their costs. We find that rural BPOs in particular are anywhere from 40 to 50% less expensive.
While the market addressed by rural BPOs has been small so far, the potential seems large. According to industry estimates, India's domestic BPO market was $1.4 billion in 2011. But only $5 to $7 million of this market was addressed through rural BPOs. But estimates suggest that if developed, the potential market for rural BPOs could reach $7.6 billion by 2017. The employment generating potential of rural BPOs could also be significant. There are currently between 6,000 and 8,000 people working in India's 60 to 90 rural BPOs. NASSCOM estimates that by 2017, this could scale up to 70,000 to 80,000 employees. While some concerns have been raised about the lack of skilled workers, Sanjeev Bhatia of Wipro BPO says finding the right skill sets are not a concern, and rural BPOs have moved beyond doing basic data entry work.
I don't think so any low-end value work is happening from these locations. We are doing our international work. So for a change where people used to come to work, we have gone to a location where work has gone to people. So there are people available in some parts of India, or largely everywhere, where people can't move to metro, but they have the required skill set.
The spillover of benefits of rural BPOs on the broader economy could also be significant. Salaries paid out at rural BPOs range between 4,000 and 6,000 rupees per month, offering employees a sustainable livelihood in areas where jobs are otherwise tough to come by. There are also socio-economic benefits that could accrue. with most rural BPOs claiming to have 60% women employees and in some cases even 100% women employees.
Monthly sustainable income that's generated from the salary they get every month will not only take care of their family, the livelihood requirements, which is basically providing 3 square meals a day for the entire family, but it's also particularly for the boys as well as the girls, it provides them the empowerment and the confidence.
Even state governments are waking up to the socio-economic and business potential of rural BPOs, and state initiatives have picked up in recent days.
If state governments can actually help in reducing the cost by helping with the setup of some of these centers, or giving some incentives for each job that is being created, definitely it can help a lot.
Still considered by many as the back office of the world, the Indian BPO industry needs to leverage successful rural BPO models and look to implement it across India. But it will need to ensure that these rural BPOs move up the value chain and don't remain merely low-cost centers. In Bangalore, Balakrishnan, Ndtv Profit.